the time the pages went off, I was actually at a house in Morrisons. I came out of that house, I looked up and I could see a large plume of smoke. We manned the truck, came straight up here. Just as we turned into Atchison Road, we heard that Elaine tanker was on scene.
They would arrived in probably 5 to 6 minutes. The sheds were totally engulfed. They'd started from the grey Ferguson tractor here, believed it had a fuel leak and it backfired and spread to all these sheds across here. With the stringy bark trees placed amongst the sheds and the heat of the materials in the sheds, it actually caused a draft and stripped the stringy barks off and caused spot fires that floated over, spotting over in the bush. And that was their main obstacle because we couldn't control it because it keeps furnacing spots into the bush. 400 or 500 metres they went in the bush before we really declared it was out of control. We couldn't stop it.
As the fire started to develop, it became quite obvious that it was going to be bigger than just a local brigade issue, and very quickly the Incident Control Centre at Vickers Street in Sebastopol got online.
The call of Mate Tankers 15 was the first indication that we got that we had a serious incident develop, and the first objective we established was to try to contain the fire as quickly as possible. At one stage we were looking at establishing a 12-metre break down south to really hold it. If in fact this fire got out from the forest with a day of total fire ban on the day of the incident and a further following of a TFB the next day, we realised that it would probably run through to Geelong, and we definitely didn't want this. That would be too great an impact on the region and on the people in the area.
Once the fire had got away at the north in Atchison Lane, we deployed resources to the south where there are a number of houses and properties along the southern edge of the forest. A number of the assets, including the one we're at, the fire came quite close, and to protect those assets we used aircraft, and there was a lot of aircraft bombing along the southern edge. When the fire turned and went back to the north, there was a property quite deep in the bush that the fire got quite close to, and the aircraft were bombing very close to the house and were able to save that house.
The work conducted by the night shift on the first night was absolutely excellent. It was a champion effort, I believe. Major fallback lines were established, plans were put in for the westerly change the next day, and in fact having these containment lines established made our job far easier the next day. On the second day, when the spot over in the Dulwich Creek sector occurred, there were 2 houses in that area. Strike teams were deployed from the south, and there were some excellent saves conducted by the crews in that area.
One of the very pleasing aspects of this fire, even though we're in a gold mining area and there are a lot of mine shafts in the area, only 1 or 2 still active, there were no injuries throughout the fighting of this fire. So that in itself means that all of the firefighters were well prepared. They listened to the red flag warnings, they took notice of their strike team leaders about where particular danger spots were, and it's very, very pleasing that there were no injuries at all.
The interesting thing I've found over the years with dealing these fires, that there is no real individual that stands out in controlling fires and bringing them through to a point of containment. The police, without them, definitely we couldn't have controlled the public. The local council and the support that we got from them was absolutely outstanding. St John's Ambulance in treating small little incidents. The Salvation Army, a champion group of people in feeding and how they go about it. Nothing is too much for them in what they do and the support that they give to us. Our media people, again, really outstanding. Our customers here are the local community, and we have a responsibility for them. And the way that our local media people interact with them, feed them information, and how they go about their job, they really are professionals. In summary, I'd say it was a very good firefight with cooperation between DSE, police and the CFA. It was heavily resourced, and again I emphasise our aim was to keep the fire within the forest, not let it escape to the grasslands because of the impact it would have had on the community and the general environment. I congratulate all the members, the volunteers and the DSC staff on their effort. A well fought fire.
This fire had the potential to be a lot worse than it was. The fuel loads out on the grasslands, and particularly in the Moorabool River Valley, the fuel loads in there are quite high. But because of the good work done by the volunteers and the cooperation levels between the different agencies and the ability of those agencies to meet needs quite quickly, the fire was contained to, it's around 550 hectares. From my perspective and from our brigade's perspective, we'd like to thank all volunteers, all agencies for the work that they were able to do and the pleasant manner in which they did it, and the way that they cooperated with each other and with the other agencies in limiting this fire to what we have here today. Thank you.